Welcome to Praying Through the Bible, number 54, Numbers 27, verses 1 through 11. A prayer for fair treatment under the law. This one is timely and maybe a little complicated, so bear with me. Social justice, equal rights, judicial fairness, all those are found within this story. Even interpretive hermeneutics are part of this unusual narrative. These are found in a story so real to life that it just can't be made up. Although over 3,500 years ago, we have been there and we will be there. That is where the laws don't match our lives, where not every situation is specifically spelled out, where the scripture needs to be interpreted, applied, and adjusted to our situation, where maybe under law, things aren't as fair as we think they should be. This is because our situation just doesn't seem to match. So what do we do then? Under Mosaical law, inheritance passed through the males, typical of patriarchal societies. But what happens if there are no males left? Zelophehad's daughters approached Moses with that dilemma, Numbers 27, verses 1 through 11. Their father had perished in the wilderness because of his sin. Chapter 27, verse 3. He had no sons. So the daughters ask, why should the name of our father be taken away from his clan? Since he had no son, give us property among our father's brothers. Chapter 27, verse 4. They're asking, when there are no males, why can't a woman inherit property? What is positive about this situation is honesty, behavior, respect, divine appeal, and subjection found among all those involved. 1, the daughters clarify their father's sin. They don't rationalize, but they admit it. 2, the women don't assume to take what is rightfully theirs. They work within the system. 3, the ladies stand for necessary fair treatment, voicing their concerns. 4, the petitioners take their issue to the proper authority, chapter 27, verse 2. Now, Moses does not know what to do and doesn't assume action. He therefore brings the case before the Lord, and the Lord answered him, chapter 27, verse 5. Now, why did Moses bring their case before God? It's because their specific situation had not yet been addressed by God. God answers based upon laws and principles that he had already given within Scripture concerning, for example, property rights remaining within families. As always, God was and is concerned about fair treatment for the poor. And his answer established that everything Israel had were gifts from God, not something based upon their own power. Respect for divine asks permission to act. Today, we cannot hear an audible answer. We can address the situation by going to God in prayer and in studying the scriptures. Even when our specific situation is not addressed, we need to look for general authority and principles permitting or forbidding action. This is how we bring our case before the Lord. And the Lord still answers through his revealed word and providence. Unstated but implied by the daughter's thinking is another principle. The inference that children are not to be legally punished for their parents' sins. Judicially, the opposite was a common thing among pagan nations. Plus, God's higher law prohibits perverting the rights of strangers, orphans, and widows. Exodus 22, verses 20 through 21, and chapter 23, verse 9. So the principle would apply also to these daughters, because the divine principle behind the law is mercy. Excluding these women from their inheritance would have been both legal and moral mistreatment. That's why I believe God said, listen carefully, this is amazing. What Zelophehad's daughters say is correct. You are to give them hereditary property among their father's brothers and transfer their father's inheritance to them. Chapter 7 and verse 7. Today, we still seek after social justice, equal rights, and judicial fairness among one another. Even when society is wrong, we still bring our case before God through prayer and scripture, just like 3,500 years ago. Prayer challenge. Pray for justice within society. Pray we don't excuse ourselves by saying the Bible doesn't apply to a certain situation. Look for divine principles within inspiration by praying and searching. Start praying. This has been Praying Through the Bible, Numbers 27, verses 1 through 11, a prayer for fair treatment under the law. This has been a blessing to you. Please share and please continue to pray